Time. Mark, 15 seconds until airtime.
The following is a presentation of Learfield. Welcome to Duck Insider.
Our whole athletic department, there's a level of expectations of success.
Throw, catch, touchdown, Oregon.
He can run and slam.
He's back out for a three. Left wing is good.
In the air to center, back at the wall. It's out of here.
Really excited that we get to rep our Ducks and hopefully come back to Eugene with some championships.
Indoor track and field national champion. And for the fourth time in the last 6 years, the Ducks are Pac-12 champions.
We have so many teams that are excelling right now, and it's really fun to be a part of.
Give it to me, baby. My house. I'm taking it there.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Better banking, local solutions. Live from the Country Financial Studio, here's Joey Mack.
Hey, it's Terry Johnson for Joey Mack. He is on the road, and in fact, we have a live cam we're going to have here for you in a minute, but showing Joey as he's getting ready for tonight's game. 6 o'clock at Desert Financial Arena down in Tempe, Arizona. I know my buddy Jeff Munn that calls for Arizona State women when it was Wells Fargo Bank. I guess Desert Financial, that's still a bank, isn't it, I assume? But that's what they called the arena. Like we call Matt Arena or Mac Court. They called it the bank. That's what they call it. I thought that's good, so I haven't heard whether they still call it the bank, but that's where they will be. And Joey Mack will have all the action for you. 6 o'clock tip, 5:30 with the pregame show around the Oregon Sports Network. And Joey will bring you all the action. Of course, the pregame show at 5:30 with Dana Altman. You can hear from Dana, get his thoughts on the upcoming series. Ducks need some wins. They're kind of up against it. They got to stay right now. What Scotty Phillips joining me is they're kind of just right on the bubble, right? I mean, they're in the last one in, I think, from Joe Lunardi.
Yeah, I think it goes every day. It changes. First four in, last four out.
Yeah.
Up and down, up and down.
Yeah. So if you win, and certainly if you go to Tucson on Saturday and get a win, but you got to start with Arizona State, and they got to have a little bit of a chip on their shoulder, right? As Arizona State beat the Ducks up here at Matthew Knight Arena. And, one of the teams down near the bottom of the Pac-12 conference standings. So hopefully, right, we'll get them. It's on ESPN. Joey will have the radio call. Turn the sound down and turn the radio sound up. Oregon women last night, yesterday afternoon, but it finished last night against UCLA. A non-conference win for the Ducks, but a good one nonetheless, 67-53, the final. Ducks needed it. Ducks had a 20-point lead at the half, 40-20. And then UCLA came out and said, let's get physical. And what was that, Olivia Newton-John? Wasn't that the name of the song? My mind's going back. Let's get physical. Yeah. And they did get physical. They outscored the Ducks, 24-14 in that third quarter, closed it in half, and then early in the fourth quarter got to 8. You're kind of going, yeah, there's still 9 minutes left, and yeah, the Ducks got with it. As the Ducks have dominated the fourth quarters all season long. The first and the fourth quarters for the Oregon women, they outscore opponents pretty heavily. It's those middle quarters sometimes that kind of gets in the way, and it did last night with the third quarter. But the Ducks rebounded, they recovered, and they had to kind of get that intensity back. And sometimes you have a big lead, a 20-point lead at the half, you kind of think, you're trying to tell yourself the game's not over, but there's that little, somebody on your shoulder going, yeah, it's probably over. I think they're deflated. Well, UCLA, to their credit, they're trying to fight their way into an NCAA berth that they have, I think 5 straight times have been in the last 5 times in several years over the years. Corey Close has been there for about 12 years, I think, and they have been there pretty much every year. Not as loaded as this year, but Charisma Osborne, what a fantastic player she is. She can defend, she can shoot it, she can score, and the Ducks handled them, though. Got the win as they're starting to get healthy, UCLA. Now we need them to go, next weekend down to Arizona and knock off Arizona. Ducks are still in second place, half-game lead on Arizona. They're at 9-4 in the conference. Arizona is at 8-4. They have a split of the series. That makes this game, if Ducks take care of business tomorrow against Cal tomorrow night, then on Sunday it's number 2 and defending national champion Stanford Cardinal. If the Ducks could get that one, Then if you do end up at a tie somehow with Arizona, the Ducks would have the tiebreaker, because the first tiebreaker is your head-to-head. They have a split. Next tiebreaker is the best win in the conference. Can't get much better than knocking off Stanford and being the only one. That would, it would make them either second or third going into the Pac-12 tournament as far as seeding. Those two teams likely, if they win the quarterfinal match, which each of them would be favored to do, would meet in the semifinals and then move on, likely the winner moving on to you expect Stanford in the championship of the Pac-12 tournament. So that's it, but it's the Ducks want to host. That's always a big deal. They've been kind of in, and they're probably out after that Oregon State loss of the top 16 of being able to host the first and second rounds of the NCAA tournament at Matthew Knight Arena. Always want to do that. It's great for the fans, great for the team to hear the hometown fans, even though it's kind of operated by the NCAA, so it's a little bit different, but still, you're in your home arena. The kids are sleeping in their own beds, the players, and they're shooting at the rims that they've seen for a long time. So it's always good. It's always good. So hopefully they can get that done. Coming up a little bit later, we're going to hear from Kelly Graves, the postgame from last night with the media. India Rogers had a great game. Nils Schyllander, the tennis coach, men's tennis head coach, and Joy Mack and softball student athletes Jazz Williams, Paige Sinicki. And we'll preview the road games coming up in Texas. In fact, I think the first pitch is like at 2 o'clock West Coast time in Texas. By the way, it's San Marcos, Texas. I went to San Marcos, Texas as Oregon baseball. I traveled with them and called the games there to fill in. And it looks like San Marcos. And I was told it's San Marcos down there. But I think there's a San Marcos, California. Bennett, the intern, is here, right? But You're from there, right? He's shaking his head yes. And I think it is pronounced San Marcos in California, but in Texas it's San Marcos. It's kind of right there in between San Antonio and Austin, Texas. It's a nice area of Texas. In fact, most of the Texas people say, yeah, down here San Antonio and Austin, that's not like the rest of Texas. We're different. And it is. It's a pretty cool place. So, all right, so we got a good show coming up. We got to get to some things here. I'm running off with the mouth here in the Country Financial Studio, by the way. Let's see. Shall we play Kelly first? Do we have time for that here? Or should we just take a break? Should we take a break? We'll take a break first and come back. We'll have Kelly Graves post-game. Coming up after this on Duck Insider, after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear winter, you can't stop a new 2022 Toyota. No matter the weather, the Camry all-wheel drive comes out to play. Snowy hills don't stand a chance against the RAV4, and everyone's comfy in the Highlander. See you in the snow. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
As my family continued to grow, I realized I'd have to replace my beloved Jeep with something that has, well, more seats. I'm Jason Hines, Country Financial Rep and father of 7. Whether you're upgrading from your sporty ride with no room for a car seat or finally replacing your well-loved beater that still has a cassette player, you'll want the right protection for your new car. Work with a Country Financial Rep like me and get the protection you need at a price you can afford. Learn more at TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
Dear winter, you can't stop a new 2022 Toyota. No matter the weather, the Camry all-wheel drive comes out to play. Snowy hills don't stand a chance against the RAV4, and everyone's comfy in the Highlander. See you in the snow. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Don't go anywhere. Duck Insider continues after these messages on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
When might you be buzzed? When you suddenly love everything.
You guys, I love this song. I love these nachos. I love our kickball league. Ugh! I love this guy. What's your name? You know what I'd love? A ride when it's time to head out.
If you see a buzzed warning sign, call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I love your car. Is this real leather?
Hey, so what's a great way to spread awareness that driving high is illegal everywhere? A catchy song, of course.
You can run, but you can't drive high. You can run, but you can't drive high.
Friendly reminder, don't drive high. If you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Welcome back. It's Duck Insider here on a Thursday. Terry Johns for Joey Mack, and we do have a live cam. I promised you down in Tempe. There's Joey. Yeah, got some Carl's Jr. He's getting ready for the game. I don't see any game notes. What's he? I don't know. He's getting nice tan though. So when he comes back, yeah, he's okay. All right, we'll move along. Don't forget that game, 6 o'clock tonight, Oregon at Arizona State, the Oregon men. Kelly Graves, after the Ducks' 67-53 win over UCLA yesterday at Matthew Knight Arena, Coach addressed the entire media on Zoom, and very happy with the defense, weren't you, Coach?
What a great win. Gutsy finish, good fourth quarter again. Obviously first half we looked terrific at both ends of the floor, built a nice lead. It's a process. Good teams don't let the other team get back in it, and we unfortunately kind of did. It wasn't anything that they were doing. I don't think what do you call it? Tactily, but they just played hard. They put more pressure on us at our offensive end, and then just killed us on the boards. And Osborne is a great player. It's hard to keep down, but their big three scores. We held to 22 points tonight. That's pretty good, but a really good defensive effort. And overall, I thought a really good win, man, against a team that's hungry. They were playing for something today. They're still looking at getting into that NCAA tournament, and a win here would have done a lot for that. And we didn't allow it.
You guys were 4 of 21 from 3 the other night. You made 4 your first 5 tonight. Just nice to see some shots drop early, and you feel like that set the tone?
Sure makes a difference, doesn't it? Sure makes a difference. And it was by people that we don't normally have do it. Maddie hit a couple tonight, which was great. Tahina, it was good to see her knock them down. And I thought India had a really good game for us tonight. Hit a couple, I think, in the first half. And, it was, we now just got to get that going with an inside attack. We've got to be able to get the ball inside late in the game and either get fouled or score. And that's been a struggle for us a little bit. I thought we had some good looks late, but that 3 ball, when it goes in, it really helps us.
Kelly, tell me if I'm reading a little too much into how you guys did this tonight, but you're the team that gets bothered by physical play, and you went to and turned to not just your big 3 and Niara responds to falling and taking a couple of hard hits the way she did and ends up with a double-double, but you turned to Shannon and Philly and Taylor, players who haven't played very much at all, for some pretty critical minutes, and then to your big 3 down the stretch. And you guys fought back and delivered counter punches in a really physical game and showed a depth and a toughness that you really need to win at this time of year.
Yeah, no question about it. I'm glad you brought up Philly, James, because she, I thought, impacted the game as much as anybody, certainly in that second half. And we needed it. They were killing us on the boards. I thought she negated that a little bit. And obviously she's a force, inside. I'm trying to juggle a whole bunch of inside kids, and they all kind of stepped up and did different things tonight, which was good. Shannon, I thought Shannon did a great job. First possession, her first touch, she got a nice assist. Had a pretty good look at a shot that she normally makes. I just, before the game, made a conscious decision. I wanted to play 12 players tonight because, again, 3-game week, and I felt confident in all of them. Shania even came in, did a good job. I thought Elise did a really good job in the first half, definitely on Osborne. So, yeah, I've just got to keep trusting in them and get them, again, more and more time. But they got to earn it, and I think tonight they did.
Kelly, were you happy with the way your team kind of handled their physicality there, especially kind of early second half, third quarter?
Not always, but ultimately, yeah. I thought we adjusted. They came out, and let's face it, they were allowed to do that. That's another issue I'll have and let the people that need to know. Yeah, that's their MO, man. They're always been really good on the offensive boards. They've been a pressure defensive team over the years, and we kind of weathered that and kind of got our feet back under us to finish the fourth quarter. But no, I wasn't pleased with our rebound effort for much of that third quarter.
Coach, what do you feel like the significance of this one is? I know it doesn't count in the conference standings, but just in terms of building momentum going into a big weekend, which obviously ends with Stanford on Sunday, how necessary was it to have a strong showing today?
Oh, I think critical. We're now in a time where we want to look good and get quality wins so that we can get as high a seed as possible. The one thing in women's basketball, as you guys all know, you get that one of those top 4 seeds, you host. I mean, what an advantage that is. And so this was, again, I don't know their numbers. I don't know their net. It was still a good quality win. And, and it's going to look good ultimately. So we beat UCLA twice, but only played them once. Go figure. But yeah, that was a good win. Obviously we'll enjoy it today. And then we got to play a better Cal team than we played the first time. They're much better this go around. We got to make sure that our kids aren't thinking about the game on Sunday. Friday night's going to be, another important game for us.
Coach, you were talking earlier about how you wanted to get the bench a little bit more involved. I wanted to focus on Sedona. She came off the bench and gave you guys 9 and 5. How do you feel like she's kind of settling in, and just wanted to get your thoughts on how important it is to have her to come in when, Niara may need a breather?
That was terrific, man. If she can get us 9 to 11, and 5 to 6 rebounds, and she's done her job. And that was, those were important. And she had a really good game. Yep. For us to go as far as we need, I think I've told you guys about 100 times, we really need her to be, a huge factor in that. And she played well tonight.
Joe, you mentioned you have to play a Cal team in 2 days, and given what the way this went down in this game, I think it's appropriate. Just your thoughts on what's going on in this league when a game gets canceled yesterday and one team plays a Division II team today, and this is going beyond gamesmanship right now. What is your thoughts on what's transpiring in this league right now, where you just played a game that you didn't have to play in non-conference, and the opponent you're getting to come in could have played a game today and didn't because their conference opponent may or may not have done something?
Yeah, well, I don't make the decisions. I think I know what I would do. I'm going to keep that to myself, James, with all due respect. You need to play the games, man. You need to find a way. I mean, we went down to Arizona. Our charter was canceled. I get it. We had to go on game day. It was delayed. We had a 1 p.m. all set out of Portland that day to get there to the game. You got to get to your games. I don't know any other way to put it. Now, what's done about that? That's not for me to even opine on, quite frankly. But yeah, it's really weird. And that's, listen, this is going to be our 3rd straight week of playing 3 games. You know how difficult that is? The kids, it's hard to get up. And, how many is this? 7 games? I don't know how many days. So this is our 7th game in 16, 17 days, something like that. It's hard to get up consistently for that many games. It truly is. And so that's why, like the other day, you saw us flat a little bit against Oregon State. We're the only team that's had to do this 3 straight weeks. And part of that's my fault. In fact, all of it's my fault. I wanted it. And because I think it's important for us to make up the games that were missed.
Yeah, there you go. As the Ducks are going to play 11 games in the month of February, more than any other Pac-12 team. The game they were referring to, if you have not heard, Arizona was supposed to be at Cal yesterday, and Arizona had plane problems and didn't find a way in this. I think I agree with Kelly that probably didn't work hard enough to try to get there and didn't. And there's a new sheriff in town named George Kleofkoff back at the Pac-12 office, and that's a forfeit. That's the way it is, and so Arizona State had to forfeit. You would think they would have wanted to come play Cal, probably a likely win, you would think, for a team the caliber of Arizona State, but they didn't, and they're 4-5 now in the conference, and they're on the bubble too as far as getting into the NCAA tournament. I would think you would want to go play, but they didn't. That's the way it is. All right, India Rogers, she had a great game last night. Led the Ducks with 16 points. 3 rebounds, 4 assists, and 3 of 4 3-point shooting, 6 of 8 overall from the field. Here's India talking with the media last night.
We got rebounded, but we still weathered the storm. They got a couple of second chance points. Yeah, there were a lot of ticky-tack fouls called, but like I said, we still weathered the storm and came out with the win.
It seemed from a distance, at least, like they were trying to get under your guys' skin a little bit and turn it into a rock fight. And it seemed like if anybody on your side was willing to fight back in that style, it was you. And I just wondered, that's your old rivals from your old school. Any extra juice for you in this matchup, and did it feel good kind of making some plays late to help your team pull it out?
Yes, it always feels good making the plays at the end. No, there wasn't any built up juice for them. I mean, we knew they were probably going to come out and have a point to prove because we just got the easy win for conference due to the forfeit. But like I said, we came out prepared and ready to go.
Kind of follow with what Rob was talking about there, Andy. This team is, long before you got here, been the high octane offense, but not known for physical play necessarily. And when it got in more physical games, particularly the Arizona schools, it bothered this team. It bothered this program. It weren't built that way. You guys got in a really physical game here in the second half, and not just you and Tahina and Niara, who came through with the double-double, but also Chania and Taylor and Shannon and Philly come in and fight back. Do you think that there's something to that about sending a bit of a message to the rest of this league that you guys can play a physical game too?
Yeah, for sure. We can be physical when we want to be, but sometimes I feel like when we get too physical, we just get fouls. So I think we kind of just back off a little bit. But yeah, we're a physical team for the most part. I just think that we don't like to be too physical because there's going to be fouls called.
India, the importance of finding some range from 3-point this game, because the last couple of games it was tough, but I think that first quarter, 4 of your first 5, how critical was it to see some of those go down? And for you in particular to kind of, I think you were 3 for 5.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, we knew it was gonna we knew it was gonna be a good day if Maddie comes off the first 3 off the bounce. I mean, we didn't shoot it too hot the other day, but today we shot it at 44%, which is like 14% better than what we did the other day. So that's good. I mean, we just got to stay consistent with that going into postseason, I think, and keep going.
Yeah, my question is more or less the same as Eric's, but I mean, was it a matter today of you guys getting just better looks, or was it the same looks and it just started falling? But was there anything kind of in the offense that was kind of led to that better shooting performance today?
I think we call our offense based on the defense. Last game we got great shots. We just didn't hit them. So, I mean, as you can see, like if we're out there making shots, it's like over with for the other team. So when we shoot well, we defend well, we win those games.
In a game that saw 12 Oregon players and 9 of you guys score, how does that impact the chemistry in the locker room, seeing everything going right across the entire team, not just the starters? Does that impact you guys at all, knowing that everyone's kind of flowing and feeling good?
Yeah, I mean, we're always told when your name is called, you need to be ready to step up. And I think a bunch of players stepped up, but I'm going to point Philly out right now and give her a big shout out. She came with a big block, big rebounds, came with a big layup. So yeah, I mean, Shania, we know she's going to give us defense. Elise is going to give us a 3 or 2. So I think everybody who got in made a difference. I mean, as soon as Shannon got in, she gave a great pass to Niara for a layup. So, I mean, it just shows like when people's names are called, they're ready to step up. We have a lot of depth. So.
There you go. India Rogers had a great game last night. Having a great year. Glad she transferred from USC and came in. You know, the transfer portal sometimes takes away and sometimes it giveth, something like that. And you get somebody like India Rogers who's just a terrific human being. I love talking with her. You can tell from Dallas, Texas down the south, kind of that sweet spirit. But on the floor, she is a fierce competitor, let me tell you. And how about Filipina Che? Yeah, Philly coming in at 6'8". The Ducks needed some size. They were starting to get out-rebounded, as they were talking about, both Coach and India. And it's kind of funny. If you sit down close enough to the floor and you see players going to the key and they see 6'8" Philly coming over and the look is nope. They just kind of U-turn and head back out. Speaking of Niara Sabally, Niara The Oregon redshirt junior was named to the COSIDA Academic. That's the SID's All-District 8 team today. In recognition of her achievements on the court and in the classroom, Sabali currently 5th in the conference in scoring at almost 16 a game, sitting 5th in field goal percentage, almost 54% a game, putting up 16 points and 7.5 rebounds per game in conference play, and has 4 double-doubles on the season, now 8 in her career, and including 2 double-doubles in each of the last 3 games. She had one Friday night up in Corvallis and then one again yesterday. Berlin, Germany native, receiving her degree in journalism and advertising following the conclusion of this winter term here in March. And 2021 All Pac-12 selection, Sabali named to the top 10 watch list for the Katrina McLean Award, which honors the nation's top power forward. Ruthie Hebert won that one year. She has Sabali reached double figures in scoring in 14 of the second games played, 17 games played, and leads the team with 5 20-point games despite missing 8 contests due to injury. Yeah, she's pretty good. She is a phenomenal athlete. If you missed Coach Graves talking about her in the pregame show a couple games ago, and I asked her, what would it be like if she's healthy? He says, oh, man, she would be in the weight room. She'd be able to practice full-time, and she might be the best player maybe to ever play here. That's how talented she is, and we just hope for her health and she can have a pro career and go make some money at playing a game that she loves. But glad to have Niara. Enjoy her. Enjoy her. She's a terrific human being as well. All right, we will take a break, and coming up next, Nils Schyllander. We'll talk with him, as or Joey Mack did earlier. And we'll hear from Nils talking about men's tennis straight ahead after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Money isn't interested in the fact that you dream of going to Greece. And it doesn't pace at night wondering how you'll pay for braces 3 times. The point is, money without people is just money. Only people can use it to run the family ranch, buy their first house, or adopt a happy old dog. To us, the powerful thing about money isn't money at all. It's helping you harness the power of yours. On Point. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
After 2 years of construction, my wife and I finally moved into our dream home. So when a bathtub fixture broke, causing major water damage, I was glad we had the home insurance protection we needed. How do you know your home is protected? Talk to a Country Financial rep like me, Nick Simon. We can help you understand your options and select coverages to meet your needs. Then if something happens to your home, you won't have any surprises. Need the right coverage for your home but not sure where to start? Visit TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
Duck Insider continues after this timeout on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Jill, why don't you tell the class what you did this weekend?
Well, my dad and I went in search of some magical minnows and found a zillion of them in the stream from our lookout rock. Then my sister and I escaped from an evil slug king and went back to my super twig fort for safety. Then we told stories till it got dark, and the Big Dipper led us all the way home.
Wow. Where were you, Jill?
We went to the forest. It's not that far away.
Ask your parents to take you and your friends to the forest this week. It's closer than you think. Check out discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
If a natural disaster comes knocking, how prepared is your family? You can't just close the door on earthquakes, floods, or hurricanes and hope they go away. That's why it's important to make a plan now. Ready.gov/plan has the tools and tips you need to prepare your family for an emergency. So if disaster shows up at your doorstep, you'll be ready. Visit ready.gov/plan and make a plan today. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
All right, welcome back to the Country Financial Studio. Terry Johns in for Joey Mack, who's lounging by the pool and getting ready for the game tonight. Men's tennis coming off a huge weekend. Just signed a top Swedish player for next year. Joey Mack sat down with head coach Nils Schyllander earlier, and here it is.
Nils Schyllander is here, Oregon men's tennis head coach. We're recording this on a Wednesday morning before you guys are hitting the road to San Diego. You're coming off a couple of big victories for your squad this year. We haven't had a chance to talk in the spring, but I pause on that for just a second, okay? Everybody, this is what Coach Shielander brought in to the studio today, okay? That one excellent Nike Oregon polo. But, Coach, you got to tell everybody, why this shirt means so much, because we already have the tennis ball from you, and now you're kind enough to donate another pretty cool thing to the studio.
By the end of my run here at Oregon, you'll have a whole outfit: the shorts, shoes, a pair of boxers. No, it's the same guys on the ball, so figured you needed something to go with the tennis ball to make it a little nice and shiny in here.
So there you go. It's John McEnroe, one signature, everybody. Rafael Nadal and Roger Federer. I mean, only some of the biggest tennis names ever.
Yeah, and
Right.
I mean, they're big Nike guys. Obviously, they were the first really big Nike superstars on the tennis side.
So you got to tell everybody the story, Coach. I mean, you got the ball, you got the shirt. How do you come across these things in your career?
I've been around the block a few times.
I like that. Well, thank you, Coach. That's super nice. It's cool to always have the sort of decorated stuff and the cool stuff in the studio. Now I'm taking suggestions from everybody. We were just discussing where do we put it. You know, we got to put it somewhere cool, you know, and it's a small, and
I was going to say, we're not going to put it on you.
No, no.
That will get the show canceled.
But thank you. But Richard, the mannequin, he's a medium and a large in certain styles. I don't think a small is going to fit on the mannequin.
Yeah, so a new mannequin. There you go.
That's right. I guess it is time for a new mannequin. Well, it's the first time that we've had a chance to talk in the spring. Give fans kind of the general update. You guys are coming off a top 25 win over Pepperdine. Really close one against Northwestern last Friday. You guys have gone to Texas, and now you're getting ready to go to San Diego. Catch fans up on your season. What do you like from your team so far?
Yeah, no, they're resilient. And they're gritty. I mean, that's the whole thing. We talked about grit and what's the identity we want to have when we compete. And they showed it early on that we have that part that us as coaches love, and that is they are not going to roll over and they're going to fight. You know, season got started off a little bit rocky, a lot of COVID cancellations, rescheduling. We actually rescheduled the Huskies already.
All right.
So that is going to be played in April.
Okay.
The non-counter, that's not a conference match.
Right.
We have picked up Denver. That's going to be added to our schedule, who's a nationally ranked program. And picked up Nebraska, so we're going to play them on the road. So we got a full schedule again, just a few different teams.
You're just puzzling it all together.
Yeah, you got to give the boys the opportunity.
Yeah. Well, so full schedule is updated, by the way, on GoDucks.com. For example, that Washington matchup now in April shows up, still postponed, but it's on that April date where it will be.
It'll be updated this week.
Yeah. So there you go.
Yeah, and you know, from there on, we started playing. We went out to Texas, beat a very good Oklahoma State team. Played great that match. Battled one of the best teams in the country in Texas at their courts till the end. Came back. We had a brutal loss against Northwestern, who in my mind is a top 15 program. They've already beaten Duke, and now they've beaten us. And they beat Notre Dame. They have some really good quality wins. Came down to the last set and the last match on, which we were up. And just literally, I mean, not even an inch short. So I was a little bit worried going into the Pepperdine match, like how are you going to react after a brutal loss like that in front of a great home crowd. It was a very emotional match. But the guys were fantastic, and they got it done against a Pepperdine team that on paper we shouldn't touch.
Yeah, they're number 21 at the time, and that's a top 25 program.
I think they've been up. I think they're high. I mean, they've been up like 12 in the country so far this year, something like that.
So you scheduled up. I mean, we were talking about that before we got recording here. Like, you really did schedule up. And what goes into that as a coach when you're putting together your schedule? I know the roster has a lot to do with it.
Obviously it does, but it's kind of tricky because you usually schedule 2-3 years out.
Sure.
So you project which programs are going to be good out of conference. And it will change a bit, so we always keep a few dates open that we can add matches late in the game. But yeah, this year's schedule on paper, it's a buzzsaw. But you know, we've started off real well, and hopefully we can, you know, keep it going.
Sitting at 4-2, you're going to go to Loyola Marymount on Saturday and then San Diego on Sunday, so you get a little bit of the nice Southern California weather. Baseball's going to be there at the same time.
Hopefully we can catch a baseball game while down there too.
I mean, I love that. I think you know, it's going to be, let's see, San Diego on that Sunday. You guys start at noon. Baseball starts on that Sunday at 1 o'clock.
Yeah,
so
actually, our match time has moved up to 11.
Okay, 11 then.
And we're playing Loyola Marymount at San Diego as well.
Yeah.
So that's at noon on Saturday.
Well, if it's noon on Saturday, Coach, I mean, you might have your nightcap 5 o'clock is when baseball throws that
I think I
first
know where I
pitch.
will be at 5 o'clock.
I love that.
Coach Wass, we're coming to watch you.
I love that. That's cool. And, you know, that's something, Coach, I think that you have a great perspective on. That, and I didn't know I was going to ask you this just now, but the cross-sport support at Oregon.
It's
I mean,
great.
You talk to other coaches I know around your industry. Is it unique? Is it as unique as sometimes we may think it is that there's so much cross-sport support here?
I'd like to think so, but then again, I can't speak for any other universities. All I know is that, you know, we're a pretty close-knit group here at Oregon, and, you know, everybody followed. We had a big win. I hear from other coaches, you know, and the other way around. And, you know, it's always fun when you run into each other in the hallway or whatnot, and on the golf tour in the summer.
That's
and
right.
It's a great place, and I think it shows. It helps when you're recruiting.
Sure.
Because I think people notice when you come here that this is a pretty unique place. You walk a recruit through, and they're going to notice those things because everybody says hi. They know who you are, and you usually know who the recruits are because you're in constant communication, right?
That's cool. That's really cool. Nils Schyllander joining us, Oregon men's tennis head coach. Before we talk about your current roster, speaking of recruiting, this week you brought in a new signee. Tell us about your new addition from Sweden.
Yeah, August Gustafsson, probably the best junior doubles player in the country over there, or I'm pretty sure he is.
Mm-hmm.
Singles have been coming on as of late. Trajectory is going straight north on that one. So I think he's going to be a great pickup for our program. A lot of experience, and just the greatest thing about him, though, he's so hardworking. You know, he knows Jesper is already on my team.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to have that same kind of work ethic. And in a small team, it's very important that you get everybody on the same page. And if you don't fit into the culture, it's not going to work.
Mm-hmm.
You know, 1 or 2 players can have such a big impact on a small group.
I'm curious when you're on the recruiting trail, and I was really curious with him, Coach, because most recently won the Swedish Doubles National Championship, finished second the year prior, and so the doubles is what, you know, is like, oh, he jumps off the page in doubles.
Yeah.
How tough is it to recruit a guy who's great in doubles when you are recruiting an individual? You know what I mean? Like, how do you do that?
Gotta. I mean, the doubles is very important. We wouldn't have beaten Pepperdine without it.
Got to have the doubles point.
Doubles point is only worth 1, but it's hard to win 4 out of 6 singles matches.
Right.
And Josh wouldn't have been in the position to close it out for us unless we would have won that doubles point. So I think people realize how important it is, and you know, we try to stress it with our recruits that we need players that can play doubles just as well as singles.
And it almost, I would imagine, it helps them in their career in the long run, right, to be able
Absolutely.
to do both.
I mean, if you look at a doubles match, the serve is important, and the return is huge, and those are the 2 shots that start off a point in singles. So if you're good at those 2 elements of the game, you're usually going to be pretty successful.
Makes sense. Makes sense. I do want to go back in time a little bit. You mentioned Josh Arlton. I mean, what an awesome moment to have a player of his caliber against Pepperdine. Take fans through what happened. Kind of tell the story from your perspective there in that winning point.
Oh, man. It was, well, let's go to the whole match with Josh. So, you know, we win the doubles. We win 2 pretty quick. I mean, Jesper does what Jesper does. I think he was 18-3 last year. He's like 6-0 this year.
Yeah,
so they'll put him at like 24-3 in the last 27 dual matches play. So he wins pretty quick. Luke had a fantastic weekend. He wins pretty quick. So we're at 3, and we're locked in some other battles. But the way it boils down comes down to Josh, and he's up 4-1 in the first set and up losing it in a tiebreaker. And I realized pretty on that this match is coming down to him.
Mm-hmm.
And he turns around, wins a close second set, played a great set, and then goes out into a third set. And we're in the same situation as we were Friday night.
Right.
And no one better than Josh right there, though. I mean, he's gutsy, he plays big, which is you want to do in that situation. Gets the break right off the bat and holds serve rest of the set to close it out, 1 break only. And he faced 2 or 3 games he held on a no-ad point, which you play 1 point for the game. Played huge tennis on those and held out.
Nerves of steel.
Yeah,
That's what it felt like for me following it.
Yeah, no, he did. I mean, he played. The bigger the moment in the match, the bigger he played.
Yeah, that's cool.
And the match point itself was kind of significant. He hits a great first serve, gets a short return, steps up inside the baseline, and just hits a huge forehand winner. Game over.
Yeah. So as a coach, you're just going like, yes.
It was more like
two
yes.
fists up in the air. Yeah, no, I get it. If you haven't seen some of the celebration pictures from the men's tennis social media, they're great.
They are.
They were just outstanding.
Well, that's college sports at its finest, right?
Yeah, those are the moments you work for.
Absolutely. Yeah. And just to see the whole group just storm your court, and it's awesome. And that's memories that this team, these guys, are going to bring with them.
You know, I'm curious too. It's talking about recruiting and to go kind of back big picture here for a second and talking about cool pictures. We were talking about the facelift that your locker room got.
Just pretty awesome, huh?
Tell us a little bit about it. What went into the design and just the facelift you guys got?
Well, I mean, Coach Spencer and I, we kind of had an idea about the way we wanted it to look, because it was about 20 years overdue.
Right.
No offense, Ernie Kent. It was great back in the day, but it was time, and these guys work so hard. They deserve it. They deserve to have a space where they want to go and hang out, and it's a great place for team bonding. So we got the colors we want. We had a design firm do a lot of the logos, lettering, things like that on the lockers and walls, and then you saw it. Quinn did a mural in the back room.
It was so awesome.
It is unbelievable. It's unbelievable. He spent probably 40 hours that weekend in there. He did everything from the design on the computer to the stenciling on the wall to hand painting it with some help from his brother Luke. Literally, that one is it's a labor of love.
So for those that are not familiar, these are two student athletes that we're talking about for Coach Shielander's squad that put the mural together that's now featured in the locker room. We'll show the pictures and also on GoDucks.com if you want to see them, if you're curious, because Coach, that's just such a cool thing for a program.
Absolutely.
How did that start? Like, kind of walk fans through the story of just whose idea was it? How did this all come about?
I think it was Quinn.
Cool.
Him and Coach Spencer talked a little bit, and Quinn had done well. Actually, we had a huge whiteboard there before, and Quinn was just drawing a duck on there, and it was so cool that it stayed up for like a year and a half, and eventually it's like, why don't we turn that into a mural?
That's so cool. And
the whiteboard came down, and next thing you know, you got a 6-foot duck up there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's great. It's great. And the fact that it's done by someone on the team, it's something that past players can take pride in, current players, and it's something for future players to enjoy too.
That's what I think is awesome.
It makes it special.
Yeah, I think it's such a cool connection.
Yeah.
Talking about your team overall, I'll leave you with this. You guys are sitting at 4-2. We've talked about how tough the schedule is. Pac-12 is always tough. Keys to success for you guys the rest of the way. What are you looking for from your team?
Just the same. Play as hard as they're doing. And anyone who is out at the matches, they'll know what I'm talking about. And that student tennis center was rocking this weekend. It was great. But you play with that passion. We know we're talented enough. Nobody's going to outfight us. That's the goal. If we do that, we're going to win a whole lot more than we lose.
San Diego, the trip upcoming, and then the Ducks are back at home on Friday the 25th against Wisconsin. And then by the way, circle on your calendar right now. Be at the Student Tennis Center on March 5th at 2 o'clock because Washington will be in town. I have a feeling we'll talk with you that week.
Yeah, we will.
All right.
We will. They have a very good team this year. That's going to be a battle.
So do you guys, though.
That we do.
All right. Nils Schyllander, thanks for coming in, Coach.
No, thank you, sir.
God, thanks again.
I know.
Coach comes in and just brings like the most valuable thing that exists in the studio.
Well, you know what, Joey, you're Joey Mack after all.
Well, thanks. I appreciate that. Coach, well, thanks again for coming
Awesome.
in.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it. Best of luck.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right. It gets 2 fist bumps for that, for bringing that in, man. What, John McEnroe, Rafael Nadal, and Federer. That's bringing the heat, Coach. Holy cow, that's pretty cool. Yeah, and as Joey said, they're down in San Diego Saturday and Sunday against LMU and UC San Diego. Softball coming up next, as we will hear from Jazz Williams, if time, Paige Sinicki, as they are in action at Texas State. And first pitch coming up here and at 2 o'clock, top of the hour, about time we sign off. We'll have that for you next here on Duck Insider. Back after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, our all-inclusive event pricing allows us to take care of all of the details while you enjoy your event. Our wedding garden, expansive grounds, ballroom, and meeting rooms can accommodate any size event and come complete with full catering and service staff. From weddings to business and social events, Shadow Hills offers the benefits of a resort atmosphere and the peace of a country setting just minutes from downtown Eugene. For more details, call us today or go to shadowhillsevents.com.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Duck Insider, your home for the latest news on Oregon athletics on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey, son. How are you feeling?
I'm fine, Pops.
What's on your mind?
I can't explain it. Navigating without a compass, eyes waiting, started to wonder. Metamorphosis, the loss of who you thought you was.
When your kid can't find the language, help them find the lyrics. Listen to the Sound It Out album and get tips and tools to start a conversation at sounditouttogether.org. Brought to you by Ad Council and Pivotal Ventures.
Hey, Dad, how do airplanes fly? What's in this box? Is this tree good for climbing? How are babies made? What does this thing do?
Kids are curious about everything, including guns. Talking to them about gun safety in your home is a good first step, but you can do more. Always keep your guns locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition. Safe gun storage saves lives. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
All right, welcome back to the Duck Insider Show in the Country Financial Studio. Terry John's in for Joey Mack down in Tempe with Oregon men's basketball. Is 6 o'clock tonight, 5:30 with the pregame show with Joey Mack. We're going to talk softball. So they're getting underway at Texas State at 2 o'clock and then 4 games against Baylor after today. And we're going to hear from Paige Sinicki first. Let's hear from Paige.
Let's just take me into it on the field. Your first collegiate opportunity. How did it feel? Were you comfortable? What was it?
Yeah, honestly, I felt very comfortable. I mean, I've been playing with these girls for a couple months now, and I've just been really able to pick their brains and really just get to learn so much from them. And I think it helped me just be comfortable in that position. And I just wanted to help my team in that moment. And I think I really came through, and I was excited about it.
Paige, first of all, congratulations on a very successful first weekend. Kind of segueing off of what Ryan was just talking about, what was your biggest surprise? I mean, like you said, you've been playing with these girls for a long time, but, actually seeing D1 competition, what was your biggest surprise out there in your first experience? And what was the one thing that you thought after your first time out there that you probably need to improve on the most, just your personal opinion?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like in college, the game is definitely a lot faster. Going from travel to college, the speed of the game's faster. So being able to slow it down and just go moment by moment and really just taking it easy that way, was just the thing that I learned in really this weekend. I feel like I was in a dream at one point where I was just in the dugout and I was like, wow, we're really playing Ole Miss. I've been waiting for this moment for a while. I've been committed here since my freshman year of high school. So when it really was in that moment, I was just kind of, it was like a dream. But I mean, I am excited that we were able to work and get ready for that moment. I think for things I could work on is just still slowing it down. I think once the game gets fast, it just makes it hard. But if I can just slow it down and keep having fun with my girls and just keep supporting each other, it makes the game really slow down and just it's easy.
Paige, for lack of a better word, where does your motor come from? Because we saw it in fall ball for diving head first in the backstop and busting out of the box every time at 100 miles an hour and the way that you field. Where does that come from? When did that start? Why are you the way you are and play the way that you do?
Honestly, I just love the game of softball and just being on the field, with my teammates, they fire me up and I would go through a wall for any of them. If it's to get that out, I would do it. And I don't know. It's been like a part of me for a while. I've always been just that player that will go for it. And I think like it's helped me become the player I am and like will always be, just because if I don't go for it, then like who ever know. And so I think I just love doing it for my teammates, and I love the game of softball. I've learned so much from it, and it's just I want to keep continuing doing like that because I just love it.
Paige, you talked about how the game sort of slowed down for you, or it was fast, and we saw a lot this weekend at third base, you throwing out lead runners, you making diving plays, and really making a lot of high leverage plays look relatively simple. How were you able to sort of adjust to that college level and be able to have that confidence to make those high leverage plays?
Yeah, I mean, it all starts at practice. Like, we prepared for those little plays where when the bunt gets down, get that lead runner. I remember like the past few practices, I was having a hard time just getting that lead runner out. And in that moment, like I prepared with Coach Reagan and my girls, like listening. And I think at that moment, it just came easy because it was something we practiced so much and ingrained in our practice. And I think just practicing all this stuff that occurred this weekend helped slow the game down. And I think Coach Reagan definitely helped me slow down and just realizing like what I need to do in that moment and play and just really just breathing and just right when I split step to get on the field, like hit it to me and know exactly where to go with where we're going to anticipate where the ball is going to go and just talking pre-pitch. And I think we did a good job this weekend doing that. So I think that helped.
Paige, just a real quick question before the real question. You broke a glove in the fall. Has that ever happened to you before where you caught a line drive and the glove actually broke on you?
Yeah, no, that's never happened to me before. I didn't even think I realized that the glove was broken until like 2 plays after. And then I'm feeling my glove and I'm like, oh no, like it's still a little loose. So, but it was crazy. I never if that would have happened in travel, I would have never just been able to get my glove relaced in like an inning. So it was definitely a funny experience, but yeah, no, we're so lucky to have managers and equipment managers to help fix that glove. And now I got a new one. So we're hopefully no more breakage of gloves.
And the real question I wanted to ask was, have you ever seen Jenna Lilly play? And who do you have on the team right now that is kind of if you would say a mentor, who do you look up to as kind of that leader?
Yeah, I have seen Jenna Lilly play. I mean, I remember watching her at third base for the longest time after I had committed and looked at Oregon. And I just love how she plays. And I mean, just playing third at there, like it kind of just want to fill her spot in a way. But for mentors, honestly, like all the veterans have helped me. Like there's not really specifically one person that's helped me the most. They all have brought different pieces of advice into my freshman year of college. I mean, Jazz has helped me slow down the game, just being on the left side with her, and Bunk have really just like telling me to keep on top of my schoolwork and softball. And I think that's helped. Like at the end of the day, like we're here to do school and softball. And I think like Bunk really helped me with that part. And just all the leaders on the team. Tara helps me slow down. She can just look at me and she's like, just breathe. And I'll breathe at practice and it's just all like zoned back in. So, I mean, there's so many players on this team that help me slow down. So, and I think once it's slow, it's good. So.
There you go, Paige Sinicki from the softball team. And they're just about ready to first pitch against Texas State down in San Marcos, Texas in about 8 minutes or so. And then they got a 4-game set with Baylor on the road. On Twitter, according to softball's Twitter account, there is no video of the game today that I'm understanding. It looks like there is a radio broadcast that you can sync into, but it doesn't look like we'll have time for Jazz Williams. If time permitting, we may do it tomorrow. But coming up tomorrow, we got a lot to do. We hear from Dana Altman post game. Baseball getting ready to start their season as Coach Waz and some players. And possibly some post-game from today's softball game, so we will see. All right, we'll wrap up the show coming up next after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As my family continued to grow, I realized I'd have to replace my beloved Jeep with something that has, well, more seats. I'm Jason Hines, Country Financial Rep and father of 7. Whether you're upgrading from your sporty ride with no room for a car seat or finally replacing your well-loved beater that still has a cassette player, you'll want the right protection for your new car. Work with a Country Financial Rep like me and get the protection you need at a price you can afford. Learn more at TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
Money isn't interested in the fact that you dream of going to Greece. And it doesn't pace at night wondering how you'll pay for braces 3 times. The point is, money without people is just money. Only people can use it to run the family ranch, buy their first house, or adopt a happy old dog. To us, the powerful thing about money isn't money at all. It's helping you harness the power of yours. On Point. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
Jelly. Jelly adjective. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org, brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt US Kids, and the Ad Council.
What is dedication?
My daughter started making necklaces. She makes what we call affirmation fashion. I tell her every day that your black is beautiful. And if there's anything better than being beautiful, it's being smart. And if there's anything better than being smart, it's being kind. And reaffirming that every day is our method of making sure her chin never drops.
That's dedication. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
All right, welcome back to the Country Financial Studio. Terry John's in for Joey Mack. 6 o'clock tonight. He's down in Tempe, Arizona at Arizona State against the Sun Devils. The Ducks owe them one, and then they move on to Tucson on set. And there's Joey there getting ready for the game, having a little snack from Carl's Jr. And, yeah, I know Joey's probably watching. I'm surprised we haven't gotten texts yet. You trash. Hey, here's from Women in Flight. So you can tune in next Friday, a week from tomorrow, the annual Ducks on the Beach virtual event to hear alum Bev Smith, the Hall of Famer, of course, joins me on the home games for women's basketball. And Bev's going to be reflecting on the 50th anniversary of Title IX. She was right there when it was getting started, just a little bit after, and can speak on it from experience, no doubt about it. And enjoy a silent auction to support scholarships. Go to uoalumni.com/ducks on the beach, and you can register and bid on the silent auction. So make sure you do that. Let's take a look at the schedule here before we wrap it up. As we told you, softball about to get first pitch tonight. Men's basketball, we told you about that. And then softball starts a 4-game set tomorrow at 12:30 in Waco, Texas against Baylor. And some great facilities down there, by the way. Also at Texas State, the softball stadium there is pretty cool. Women's lacrosse in Georgia on Friday and Saturday against Mercer and, what was it, Kennebunk, or what is it, Kennewick State? I forget the name of it. Baseball gets underway tomorrow, and we'll hear from Coach Wazikowski coming up tomorrow, and hopefully some players as well. Men's and women's tennis, Oregon women's basketball tomorrow night at 7 against Cal, Sunday at 1 against Stanford. Thanks for tuning in. See you tomorrow.
These are the sounds of a dinner. A dinner that almost didn't happen. A dinner now served, thanks to people like you. Due to COVID-19, 17 million more Americans may face hunger. Feeding America is helping our neighbors in need. And if you're able, you can too. Donations are being accepted at feedingamerica.org/coronavirus. Brought to you by the Ad Council and Feeding America. 200 food banks strong.
It's time for today's STEM tip. Okay, you know recycling is important. No one wants plastic in the ocean. Here's a cool way to repurpose a plastic bottle. Build an awesome terrarium. Cut a large plastic bottle in half and fill the base with sand, pebbles, potting soil, and your favorite plant. I chose an African violet. Put the top of the bottle over your base and place it in the sun. Your plant will grow sealed in its own ecosystem. Fun, right? Learn more at She Can STEM. A message from the Ad Council.
Neil Armstrong waited 6 hours and 39 minutes to step onto the surface of the moon. Jackie Robinson waited 20 months to play his first game with the Brooklyn Dodgers. And even DiCaprio had to wait 22 years to win an Oscar. You can wait until your destination. Don't text and drive.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
You've been listening to Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Better banking, local solutions. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.